Record on this. I need to.
And you have to put it live on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
It's live.
Hello, and welcome to today's Reframe What's Possible podcast. This is episode 2, and today we are talking about leading by example. Reframing What's Possible is a podcast where we talk about spirituality, metaphysics, mindset, and creating a limitless lifestyle. Today, I am joined by Dorela Iepan, and she is an emotional freedom coach who is going to talk about relationships, her story, and how she came to create a life based on love. I'm your host, Jess Shillingford, and I hope you enjoy the show. Dorela.
Yes.
Hello. Thank you.
Hello there.
So today's theme is leading by example. Can you tell us what this means to you?
So hello to you, Jess, and to everyone who is watching us. I am a healing coach, and it took me a couple of years, many years, maybe too many years to realize it, to accept it, because even though I was seeing results when I was helping people, I actually saw people coming to me out of nowhere, knowing that I can help them. And I was like, how could you know that? And people were telling me, you know, you have to help people. You are a healer. And I was very surprised to hear that. And hearing it more often, with years passing by, I said to myself, okay, I cannot do that because I am not happy in my life. I see that I help people, but if I cannot have my life as an example of what I can do, I don't want to help people. And I had some struggles, and surpassing those struggles led me to accepting this path in my life, and letting people come in and allowing me to help them.
That's brilliant, because I think it's so important as leaders or coaches, teachers, that we're actually teaching things that we've embodied. And I'm so excited to have this podcast with you because I know how deeply you embody your work, that how you walk the talk. I was blessed enough to attend one of your boot camps for single women, and the processes and the story that you taught, explained to us at the start, was so powerful. And I left really learning something and being able to take action in my life. So I can't wait for our guests to hear how you came to be, and the processes, some of those processes that helped you to lead by example, help you to transform your life.
Okay, so I am Romanian. I have lived for 28 years in Romania. I had a wonderful mom who told me to read. And when she was telling me read, well, little by little, you know, the science fiction and stuff like that goes to personal development. And I was preparing myself. When I was taking a book, I was telling to myself, I need to have all the information from this book in my head. So I finished the book, but what I have learned must stay with me so that I can use it. And I had found out about Ho'oponopono, what you do, and which is amazing, and you do it at a deeper level that what we learn about when we watch movies. And I have learned about the law of attraction. So I began, when I was learning about the law of attraction, I understood that, oh, but actually I have already all those examples in my life that the law of attraction truly works. And at a certain point, I have decided that I want to quit my country. And I told family and friends I will move to Paris. And I was so sure of what I will do that there was nothing else possible. But I didn't know how to do it. I had no friends in France. I had no family in France. I had no family abroad because they are all in Romania. I had no work here. And a friend of mine told me, you know, you are so strong in realizing whatever you want to accomplish in your life that as I know you, in 1 month, you will live there. And I said, hey, listen, I really don't know how this can be possible, but if you trust in me, I trust in you. And it took me a little bit over 1 month, just a few days. And I moved to Paris. And the story is amazing. Maybe it's too long to tell all the story here, but it is so beautiful. I am now writing a book, and I am telling my story a little bit by bit, because as you said, I am dealing with relationships, and it's a book for having fulfilled relationships. And little by bit, I share my story. I was supposed to accept a job offer in Romania, and I didn't know that I have an opportunity to come in France, but I called the employer and I said, I am sorry for having said yes, I cannot come to work for you. And in that same day, my now husband had decided that he wants to go in Romania because he wants to visit his family. He was already living in France. And only the next day we met online and he told me, listen, I want you to come to me. I will help you find a job. I will offer you my house, my home, my table, my food. I will help you with everything. And I was coming out of a toxic relationship, and in my head it was, there is no relationship for me right now. There is only financial growth, career. I want to have a career. And I meet this boy, this amazing boy who says, come, I will help. And I was praying. So I said, God, I was praying to come to Paris. I don't know if you know the story that there was some too much rain, and too much water was coming into a village, and it went above all the houses, and there is this guy who is praying to God, God, please help me. And there is a ship coming to rescue him, and she says, no, I will be saved by God because I prayed to God. And this happens 2 more times, and then he dies because he does not accept being helped by people. And when he goes to God, he says, God, I pray to you, why didn't you rescue me? You stupid one, I've sent you 3 ships to rescue you, and you said no. How can I help you? So this was for me the story. When I met my husband, I said, I prayed to come to Paris, and I meet this boy. This is not a coincidence.
Beautiful. So important to build on last week's session as well. How we connect, we ask, and then we notice the synchronicity and we take that action. Yes, beautiful example.
Yes. So this is a very short story of how we met. So I came to him knowing that I don't want any relationship. And I consider it was very important for us that I was honest with him. I felt that we have built our relationship on honesty. But I think I fell in love with my husband before I met him. So everything was going in this direction of relationship and marriage. So we got married. But there is a point where when people get married, something changes. I read many, many books. They didn't express it the same way that I've seen. You know, in numerology, they say that when you change your name, because for Romanians, you change your name, well, there is a shift in your numerological destiny and everything. So I was like, there is something that changes when you change your name in marriage. The woman will change because of this. But there is another change. Before the marriage, you have beliefs. The moment you get married, you have the beliefs for marriage that come in place. So if you are thinking that when you get married, the man won't support his wife anymore, that he's working too much, that he's not helping, that he doesn't offer love anymore. We have so many limiting beliefs in our life that we discover that the relationship is not as we wanted it to be. So I think I have always had a wonderful relationship with my husband. You know, I can say it was 99% wonderful relationship. But I was like, yes, but I want 100%. And that 1% was bothering me so much that I became more and more frustrated with what I didn't like in my marriage. It's not that it wasn't okay. It was my perception of what was happening. And I got to a certain point when I said to my husband, listen, you don't love me anymore. I want to love. I want to be loved. You don't love me. I want us to get separated. I want us to get divorced. And he's like, I don't understand. There's nothing wrong in our marriage. And he accepted to go to see a therapist. And there comes something amazing, because if for many of us, if for the majority of us, COVID brought many bad things in their lives, for me, it was a blessing. The week where we were supposed to meet this therapist lady, psychologist, she canceled the appointment because it was the first week of lockdown. And I was, oh my God, did she really cancel, or this is my husband? It was really her. And I turned to God once again. You know, when everything is good, we forget about God. But I remember that actually he was helping. You can name him God or something else. That's not important how you name it. I want to name God, but you can name it with other words. I turned to God and I prayed and I said, I don't want to be with this man anymore. But if you think that there is something that we can do, please help me. And I had also another prayer for him. I said, please, God, let this man be loved by a woman, and let him feel the love that I have felt for him, so that he can be happy in his life, no matter who this woman can be. And I talked to a friend of mine, and she told me to write gratitude for my husband. And this was a turning point in our relationship. And starting from there, I learned more and more techniques that helped me change all my limiting beliefs, feel this gratitude on a daily basis, even having met you and your amazing techniques that I honestly love. So it's a path that it's unfolding, and you feel this divine flow, this energy that is flowing. And if you want to help someone else, what I had to do was to leave it by myself.
And that's the key. I think this is the shift in the moment where we start to look at when we change from within and we start to examine how our limiting beliefs or our filter of the world is shaping our version of reality. When we start to take responsibility and actually examine what is it that is creating that external uh, experience, you find that you can begin to shift things energetically by examining your own beliefs. You made a really interesting point about asking him to go to a therapist. What do you think the biggest impact on the shift in your relationship was? Was it him changing or was it you changing?
Oh, but we didn't go to the therapist. So for me, him accepting to go was a sign that he actually might still love me.
Okay.
And then I did all the work by myself.
Right.
It doesn't have to be couples therapy. If one person wants to change their lives,
Yes.
other will change also.
Yes.
There is so many things that we can talk, maybe another podcast later on.
Yeah.
The thing is that there are two news that we can give to our audience. There is one bad news. You are 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life. And the good news is that you are 100% responsible for everything that happens in your life.
Yes.
And it's not just a statement told just like this for people to hear it. We can explain it, explanations. I truly love this one. So it takes 30 years to learn it, but it only takes 5 minutes to teach it. Because you understand, you see it. I have clients and they're like, I explain step by step the process, and then, okay, it's perfect. I understand it completely. And then, listen, I really don't understand the same thing. So we have to review it over and over and over again.
Exactly. So it's that constant connection with the self and taking action, and what I call it being part of the investigation. So being part of the experiment, and reviewing how things are working out for you, and coming back and creating that deliberate practice. So before we move on to talking about some really exciting things that you teach, such as karma and the diamond cutter method, which is fascinating to me, I just want to know, what do you think the core parts or components of a conscious relationship are? What makes a conscious relationship?
We will go directly into the dharma, into the karma, because the thing is that when you realize that the outer world only reflects your inner world, your inner body, let me say it like this, in that moment you start to shift your life. The world that you see with your eyes, it's only telling you what's happening within you. When you hate someone, that means that there is something inside of yourself, and Ho'oponopono tells you the same thing, that you can heal people by healing within.
Yeah.
There are many ancient teachings that tell you basically the same thing. You just need to find the right practitioner for you when you feel the person telling you something, and go on with the person. It doesn't matter. I was in a quest for a spirituality. I was like going to church, stopped going to church because I was mad or of something. And at the moment of my research, I was like, okay, so what is the right religion for someone to have? And looking for this, there is an Indian movie that it's amazing. Oh my God. And the guy is reading multiple books, and he understands that you can go to the church that you love. That's okay, because your spirituality is within you. You can be a Buddhist and a Christian and a Muslim in the same time.
Yeah.
That's okay. So I am like, when I talk to my clients, I have one client and she's like, I have to take a break from your exercises because I have to do my prayers. And I'm like, but this doesn't mean you're taking a break. This is your exercise. This is amazing. Do it. It doesn't mean that you stopped, you continue. It's perfect. And she was so relieved in hearing that, oh, I can do this and it's okay. So I forgot the initial question.
Conscious relationships, what are the ingredients?
Yes, so the thing is that when you understand that he's not hurting you, if you don't like what he's doing, you have to come to yourself and think, what did I do for that? But not in the way to find a guilt, but a responsibility. And if you say, I did something, so this is coming from me, this means that if this is coming from me, I can do something to change it.
Let's expand on that a bit as well, because I was working with someone recently and I've got a good example. What advice would you give to someone who is in a relationship and they start to feel a sense of insecurity around the relationship because the man has female friends? Let's look at that in terms of, because I would take it from the inner child angle. You know, like we have a core wound, we might have an abandonment wound, or we might have even emotional protections that the ego creates in order to protect us from an event that happened in our childhood. Does that come into what you're talking about, looking within from a karmic perspective, or is that something else?
From a karmic perspective is different. I also have this healing, emotional healing, that it resonates with what you're doing. And from a karmic perspective, this means that the partner himself or herself, it's a man.
The lady is a woman, the man is her partner.
Yes. So she herself did something in her past at a smaller level, so that she now has a partner who creates this insecurity for herself. And I will jump also in the karmic system, the system, because it relates perfectly to have this example and to fix the information.
Yes.
And in my teaching, I use the karmic, the seeding system. And what I love about this is that you have the God that you trust, but the God that you have is within you, because he is not punishing you. You are punishing yourself by the facts, the deeds that you do. And you actually have, you can call it a mental agriculture. So you have a mental garden, and when you do something, you are planting a mental seed in your mind. So when you plant a seed of tomatoes, you will have tomatoes. So when you are planting a seed of giving insecurity to someone, it will grow in someone making you feel insecure. When you plant, I don't know, potato, you will have potatoes. You cannot have potato from a tomato plant seed. A tomato seed cannot give you another plant. Yes.
Good. No, exactly. So what you're saying is, so in this analogy, the tomato symbolizes or represents, say, insecurity. A potato symbolizes feelings of being loved and feelings of being secure. So when you have that seed in your mind of what's happening, actually how I would talk about it is in terms of the universal law of attention, where focus goes, energy flows. So you're saying you're fueling and creating the external event by passing that energy through that thought form.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So what we have though is two separate things, right? The
Yes.
thought, this is why I love my work and your work. You know, you would use an emotional freedom technique to create, to release it. I would go straight into the subconscious mind and pluck that thought out using the Ho'oponopono method and then replace it with something new. But what you're talking about is, okay, becoming aware. So we've got two lines here, two where our work merges.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying we have to be aware of the seeds that we are planting. And once we develop that awareness, we can start creating more consciously. And
Yes.
I'm saying at that moment, there's a junction where we have to stop and look back. Where does the core wound come from that planted that initial seed? Whether it was an action that you took or an event from the past that created this harvest that we don't want.
Yes.
Okay.
And we can use multiple techniques. So you can use Ho'oponopono, work and angel. I use emotion code. EFT.
Yeah.
There is also meditations where you can do a deeper level of work. And in the seeding system, there are also tools that we can take home and use by ourselves. I cannot share them now, not because I don't want to. They are so powerful that there is need of some training before we reach them. Even with my clients, I'm like, wait, you have to wait. I won't give it to you right now because you are not ready. They are so powerful that people will say, oh my God, what's happening? My life is getting worse and worse, which is not the case. But
yes. Oh, and I would love us perhaps to do then maybe do an event on that, because it is so interesting. Do you want to briefly talk about the diamond cutter method or not?
Yeah, so the thing is that I really would like to share with you something, because I have a friend of mine, and he really likes my work, but he's like, I appreciate the love that you have for your work, but I'm not into this kind of thing. It's like a treatment that you have to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I want to do it once. And I'm like, do you shower on a daily basis? Yes. And I'm like, why do you do that? You should shower once and then stop. Why do you have to keep showering yourself? And actually, this emotional work, this energetical work, is like the daily shower of our mind.
Yes. Beautiful analogy. And I would, at this point, I think it would be great to, firstly, I'll just mention something about that. And then it would be great for you to talk about your morning routine. As practitioners, we both are very committed to our routines and our spiritual hygiene, our energy hygiene, the planting of seeds in our mind hygiene, the mental mindset work. And this is what creates a centeredness and a wholeness and a peacefulness to move through life in a much more conscious way. I began my work with Mindset Alchemy a couple of months ago, and I was doing demonstration sessions because I was creating this new product, which is the Mindset Alchemy Ho'oponopono. And there were certain individuals that I would work with, and they would say, nothing's happened or nothing's changed. And they hadn't done the rewiring work, they hadn't done the integration work. But more importantly, they weren't connecting with the idea that this is not just a one-time thing. This is a way of life. It's a way of consciously creating, which helped me to understand more about how to articulate the work and how to choose individuals who are ready to get into the work. So it's people that want self-actualization. It's people that are committed to consciously creating their lives. And it kind of links with the gratitude challenge that I've put in. You know, I'm going to give this 28-day rituals, but it's not just 28 days. These become deliberate practice, and it takes time to embed, but then you'll find over time you naturally enter that state of appreciation. But it's something you have to stick with. Myself, a few weeks ago, I lost my diamond ruby ring. That was my grand's. And I know it will come back to me, because it was a lesson in, where are you not expressing gratitude for what you already have? Where are you operating in lack? And I was like, okay, I get this. I understand. So I took that responsibility back and started going back to my basic practices. So yeah, talk to me about your daily routine.
Well, you already know it, but we will share it with the world. I like to wake up at 5 a.m. I never wanted to work a job that started at 8 a.m. because I didn't want to do that, to commit to that. But now I am waking between 4:30 and rarely 6 o'clock, because it's 5 o'clock in the morning, because I love to take my daily notes, and I have combined different things I have learned in the process. I have it's called the 6 time books. This is coming from the seeding system. It's a way to see what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're speaking. So the seeds, what we talked about earlier, positive and negative, throughout the day. And this helps you see that actually I'm not that good, or what can I improve to be even better. And it's something amazing. So I do it on a daily basis. I do my gratitude. I like it to be written. I have a sport routine. So on a daily basis, I will do sports and some exercises of yoga. It's only 5 minutes a day, so it's not that I have 1 hour for yoga. I hope I will eventually, but we have to start with something. And I still continue to do the rewiring that you gave me on a daily basis. Yes. And I have some mantras. This is coming from Buddhism. So that's what I am saying, that I have multiple things that I do. Yes, I have also a meditation that I write. I like to call it the success meditation, even though it has another name. And it's this being grateful and happy for everything that we do good in our day, and to dedicate these deeds to something that we want to achieve. It might be something on a financial level, career, relationship, health, and I do this on a daily basis in written. I also like to write my successes, and this is something that is so difficult for people to acknowledge, that yes, I did something good. They are like, oh, I did nothing today. Even I do this, I'm like, I have done that, and I'm like, I haven't done anything today. And so I take my notebook and I'm like, I did my sports, I did my meditation, I did my tapping exercise, I did my yoga, I read, because I read on a daily basis. I'm writing this book, so I'm like, I wrote a chapter. I did the laundry, I did some house cleaning, I cooked, I took the kids to the school. So there are many things that we do. Even the fact to open our lives is a success. I was invited in an event and I said, taking a breath is a success. So if you haven't done anything, start counting all your breaths in a day and you will see how many successes you have in a day.
That is such an important point. To celebrate and build awareness about how much progress you're making, rather than always looking at, I have to do this, I have to do this. Let's stay in the present moment. Let's come back to this moment and be aware of what greatness we're doing. And it reminded me, of the 1%. So that taking 1% action every day builds cumulatively, so that suddenly, it's only one small thing that you do, but by the end of the year, it becomes a massive transformation. And so just starting small is really important. Let's see. Is there anything, perhaps, there's two questions that we could look at. Actually, there's three. I want you to talk about any programs that you have and that you might want to share. But perhaps let's say, what's the one key piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to create a positive relationship?
I will say the same thing as you did. I will continue on the idea of 1%.
Yeah.
Because just to finish what we were talking about, my morning routine, we don't want to scare people. So what I do is a lot. I didn't start with everything, with all of this. So 1% action. What do you want in your life? So the first step is to decide that you want something better. Not different, better, because different doesn't mean better, and you can start with what I started, gratitude on a daily basis. It takes you less than 5 minutes a day. If you already have a partner, start like I did, write 10 reasons of gratitude for your partner on a daily basis. Contact Jess to see her work. She's amazing. Yes, because she does amazing things. Find a therapist that will help you heal your emotions. We haven't talked about the energetical healing that we can do. That's amazing. But if you find someone with whom you resonate, we're not here to talk only about ourselves, but there are so many that can help you. We both in the process of our growth, of our discovery of what we can do, we connected with different people. So every single person that I have met has something amazing to offer. There is not only me or Jess. You find the person that will help you. If you feel that there is something, go to that person. So the 1% on a daily basis at home, practice gratitude. Ho'oponopono, I think everyone knows it. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I repeat it all day long. Yes.
Can I just jump in there? Because one, that is key as a very quick maintenance practice, like to shift your negative emotion on an immediate level. And people aren't aware of the work that I do with Ho'oponopono. So I just want to make it clear here that it's completely different. What I do is the original work that was brought to the West by Morna Simeona, and it's a really powerful clearing technique. But I also advocate and use that thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you one, because it shifts things in the moment and gives you that self-responsibility to be responsible for your emotions and to recognize that no one outside of you is creating a problem for you. It's you. When you have that, you become powerful.
And I here you remember you made me remember something I was explaining to my clients. So it's exactly the same thing for the Ho'oponopono. So this you can do it by yourself at home. I am explaining EFT tapping, and I am like, this is the basic structure. You can do it by yourself at home. But when you wash your hair at home, so it is clean. This is your work at home. When you go to a hairstylist and you look in the mirror and you say, this is amazing. Well, this is the work of the therapist. So the EFT that I am doing in the session is not what you're doing at home. The EFT that you find on YouTube, you can do them, go do them, but it's not something made special for you. The Ho'oponopono that you do by yourself at home, it's great. It shifts your vibration. It gets you prepared for the therapist to help you. So you go to Jess and she will take it to a whole other level.
And train them to take it to that level. So I've produced this thing which helps people to train in the way that I do it. So that's a really powerful thing, but we won't go into it. Because something else I wanted to mention, now I can't remember, it was, you said it before. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring back to the point that I was speaking to a member in the group today, or on a comment, about the importance of having a multifaceted approach. So having many healers, going to therapy, or doing, having a shamanic healing, or a coach, having not just one person, but many different people can help you in different ways, and finding someone you resonate with, is key. So final questions, there's two. I guess there's three. We could ask, there's so many actually I want to ask you.
Random one.
Okay, so tell me one example of a tough I know you said about wanting to divorce your husband. Can you give us a concrete example? I might be like repeating things over again, and if I am, excuse me. A tough experience you've had in your relationship and how you transformed it. We may have covered this.
No, there is something I wanted to talk about, but the discussion didn't get us there yet. I wanted to say my life is not perfect. People don't have to think, oh, her life is perfect, she is talking from here. No, it's not perfect. But the way I look at things now, so if I had a bad day of relationship, now what I did. So the first thing I said to myself, oh, this means I have planted some bad seeds. And that the end of the discussion. There is no discussion. And my husband is coming to me, what is wrong with you? I said, there's nothing wrong with me. And she's like, okay, I don't get you. And in my mind, I was clearing with all the things that I do. I said, if I don't like what he did today, this is coming from my seeds. I already did something for this to happen. So I completed my daily routine, and the next day we were talking like nothing had happened before. So it was so beautiful to see this change in our relationship. So it wasn't that we had one day of fight. No, not at all. I had to clean in my mind what was wrong in my mind.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that he was betraying me with something. It was in my mind. And it was empowering of accepting this. This is what we are talking about.
Now, this is radical responsibility. And when you shift into that mindset, it changes your whole world. You become super powerful. But I do want to probe this a bit, because again, bringing back the example of the person I was working with, it's all very well conceptually. How do you release the negative emotion? Would it be an EFT situation?
Yes, because in the sessions I will come with, in the seeding system, we say that this is an unconventional method.
Yeah, I love it.
So I bring both. I have the conventional method and the unconventional method. So the seeding system takes time. When you have planted the seed, you wait for it to grow. You cannot grow to the seed and say, grow, 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 grow now. No, you have planted the seed. You have to have a little bit of patience. And what we do, we use the other techniques that we know. So I will go with EFT, with matrix rain printing, that it's upper level of EFT, where you go into your memory to find where did you suffer of something.
Right, absolutely. Exactly.
Because there is an energetical blockage in your body that is not letting you live the life that you are meant to live.
Fantastic.
Sorry for all of this. And the moment that you go, it can be EFT, it can be emotion code, Psyche, Theta Healing, Ho'oponopono. Yeah. So you have, and I think there are many others. You have the journey, the notebook, I think it's called like that, the seeding system. So you have
timelining. When you timelining, so where you go back to, like, you visualize yourself going younger and younger and younger, back to the moment. And it's just about really connecting with your inner realm, which is the work I'm so passionate about. So, okay. And where was it? How do you intend and envision your work impacting the world on a global level?
With small steps. Because when I really have to share this. When I was little, we were hearing about kids in Africa that are suffering. And I was a child, and I was telling myself, I cannot help them if I talk about them at that level. So if I pity them, that won't help them. I felt that it's not a good emotion to feel. If I ignore them, that won't help. And I said to myself, it started in my childhood. I said to myself, I have to have the life that I have. I am in some kind of balloon where my life is perfect, and people who come in contact with me, we love it so much that they will want the same thing. And like this, it will spread all over the world. So this was what I was feeling, and that's why I couldn't do it before, because my life wasn't that perfect thing that I wanted to be. So now I know that by me helping someone else will continue the work, and it will spread to the world.
And I think that's a beautiful connection to our big theme of leading by example. One of the big shifts that occurred for me on my spiritual path, I used to want to save the world. I was an educator in mainstream education. I was fighting for people's rights. I was advocating for critical thinking. I wanted people to be empowered. And, you know, I gave to depletion. And a lot of my codependency issues and drawing toxic relationships was also about wanting to save other people. And I came to a very powerful realization that was, I'm not here to save anybody, and we're all here to save ourselves, in a sense that our soul came to experience our traumas, our growths, our experiences for soul growth. And yes, I'm involved in planetary healing. Yes, I'm involved in raising consciousness of the planet, but I do it through example. I don't try and change anybody. And if there's something that I can share or teach that will guide or resonate with someone else, beautiful. But really, we're all responsible for our own inner transformation and evolution. And from that perspective, we shift everything. Yeah. Okay, so final question. Do you have any programs you would like the audience to know about?
They are still in process. I had launched a program, a 7 weeks program for relationships, but I will start probably starting September or October, but it can be something beautiful because there I teach all these beautiful techniques. And as I said, I like to combine them. So it's not only one type of technique, because they all go together. And it's for the person to take what she resonates with. So it's for relationships or for people who are single. I like to say that if we are not already in a relationship, it's very important to heal ourselves before we enter into a relationship. So even though I would like to have more and more group programs, I am enjoying this one-on-one session, therapy session, because the light that I see in people's faces, it's so beautiful that it empowers me every single time. When I see the person, oh, but this feels so right, so true, and they shift a lot. And I have plenty of clients that tell me in the end of the session, I feel a light in my heart, a light as the light, not that that's easy, but the light of the sun. And I say something, I don't tell them that I want to bring light to their souls. They don't know that. And in the end of the session, they tell me that they feel light in their hearts. And I'm like, this is the most amazing thing that happened to me today. And I get to say this almost on a daily basis, so it's wonderful.
Yes. And I think we've ended on a very important, again, linking with the theme of personal responsibility, the theme of leading by example. And I think it comes back to the question that I asked you. For me, I think the most powerful thing we can do to create conscious relationships is to heal ourselves and to enter into them as whole, complete, and happy as an individual. And then to be able to build that interdependence. You know, we're not enmeshed, you're not dependent on somebody else to make you happy. You're actually creating this really potent partnership, a divine union, and that comes with the inner work. And I think that's what you help people to do.
I am writing the book and someone is helping me. She's reading the book and correcting it. And I was talking exactly about this. I said that I thought that my husband had to be my sustainment, that he was, I don't know the word in English, that he was sustaining me.
Yeah. So
the pillar. He was my pillar.
Yes. And that, yeah.
And then he said, I am not your pillar. You have to be good even if we are not together, even if we are not happy. And I was enraged when I heard that. But then I told to myself, maybe he's right. I have to be my own pillar. And then when I became my pillar, what I discovered that actually he is my safety. What's that? Yes. So my friend told me this is so empowering to understand that you have to be your own pillar. You have to sustain on yourself, but he is there. And this is how I feel in my relations. He is there, but he's not supporting me. He is just there to be sure I'm okay. And it's so beautiful to have a relationship where you can feel this.
We haven't got time to talk about attachment styles, which would be really interesting to talk about. You know, how whether you have an insecure attachment or a secure attachment, and how these are formed by the relationships we learn very young with our caregivers. And so people who have anxious attachment, they'll be very needy. Or if you have an insecure, an avoidant attachment, which I had, and I've had to work on, you will reject intimacy and you'll be emotionally unavailable. And I think actually we should have another podcast talking just about that, because that forms a lot of issues that happen in relationships where people have incompatible attachment styles, but it could be resolved really easily by just understanding and again taking that responsibility to go within. But understanding attachment and your own attachment can go a long way to creating more conscious, loving, intimate, truly authentic relationships.
I think that that's a whole podcast, but because that would be emotional code and emotional heal, EFT tapping meditations. Yeah, that's a whole other subject, and we
Yeah,
can do some tapping to see how it feels by
yeah.
tapping on it, because it shifts beautifully, but it's a whole subject.
Absolutely. Right. Well, then I need to book you in for that one. So you need to get. Okay. Thank you so much. This is the end of our second episode of the Reframe What's Possible podcast. Thanking Dorela Iepan, and I'm your host, Jessica Shillingford of Mindset Alchemy. Thank you so much for those who tuned in live. And if not, catch it on the replay. Okay. Hang on.